The night my father discovered that the daughter he had thrown out of his life was the woman standing between him and financial ruin, his entire expression changed. 7 years earlier, Richard Bennett had told me I would never become anything. On Christmas Eve, he was about to discover how wrong he had been. I grew up in a wealthy Connecticut family where my father treated success like everything. My older brother Ethan was his pride and future heir. I was the daughter he barely noticed. While Ethan attended business meetings with him, I spent my time studying mathematics, technology, and financial markets. When I created a program that analyzed market patterns, I proudly showed it to my father. He barely looked at it and told me that computers could never replace real business instincts. After college, I returned home hoping things had changed. Instead, my father offered me a low-level position under Ethan. I would have no authority and no chance to develop my own strategies. When I confronted him about years of favoritism, he became furious and told me I was no longer his daughter. Then he ordered me out of the house. I left with a suitcase and less than $3,000. For months, I worked wherever I could. During the day, I served customers at a diner. At night, I cleaned hotel rooms. But I never stopped working on my financial models. Eventually, a former Wall Street analyst named Marcus Cole discovered my research. He recognized my talent and gave me an opportunity. That opportunity changed everything. Together, we developed advanced financial systems that identified market patterns faster than traditional methods. Eventually, I launched my own investment company, Bennett Horizon. I kept my identity private, and investors only knew that an unknown founder was producing extraordinary returns. Within a few years, Bennett Horizon managed billions of dollars, and my personal stake was worth more than $1 billion. Meanwhile, my father's company was struggling. His international expansion had failed, his technology investments were losing money, and major clients were leaving. He desperately needed new technology and investors. Then Mercer Capital became interested in partnering with Bennett Financial. There was only one problem. Mercer Capital wanted access to technology created by Bennett Horizon, and the founder was me. When I learned that my father was hosting a Christmas dinner with Mercer Capital executives, I accepted his invitation. When I walked into the private dining room, my father barely recognized me. He introduced me as his daughter, who had never really found her direction in life. Then he mocked my career and asked whether I had finally learned that dreams did not pay bills. I stayed calm. A few minutes later, Jonathan Mercer entered the room. My father proudly welcomed him, believing the biggest business deal of his life was about to happen. Jonathan waited until everyone was seated. Then he announced that Mercer Capital had been negotiating with Bennett Horizon. My father smiled. Jonathan turned toward me and revealed that I was the founder and majority owner of Bennett Horizon. The room went completely silent. My father's face changed instantly. He could not believe that the daughter he had thrown out had built a company worth billions. He reminded everyone that I had once worked at a diner and had nothing. I calmly told him that he was right. I had started with almost nothing, but I had built everything myself. The technology he needed came from me. The partnership he desperately wanted depended on my company. My father tried to claim that his harsh treatment had been tough love. I told him the truth. He had never believed in me. He had only believed in the version of me he could control. Then Ethan stood up and admitted that our father had controlled him through fear and loyalty. He apologized for not defending me when I needed him. My mother also cried and admitted that she had always loved me, but had been too afraid to stand against my father. I could have destroyed Bennett Financial that night. Instead, I offered a restructuring deal. Bennett Horizon would take control of the technology division, Ethan would help rebuild the company, and my father would step away from daily operations. Bennett Financial would survive, but it would no longer be his personal kingdom. As I left the club that night, I realized something important. I did not need revenge anymore. 7 years earlier, I had left my father's house believing I had lost everything. Now I understood that leaving had been the beginning of my real life. I had built $1 billion company without his money. I had earned respect without his name. And most importantly, I had stopped needing his approval. The greatest victory was not becoming richer than my father. It was becoming someone he could no longer define. The daughter he tried to erase had built a life he could never take away.